Andrew Tate, once the most googled man on the planet, the top G, has been arrested. Was it really because of a pizza box and Greta Thunberg? Was he set up? And if he wasn't, how come so many people are still willing to defend him? Tate has been viral on TikTok, Instagram and YouTube more times than anyone ever will be, and even after being banned by social media platforms, he still has a cult-like presence. Some would say that's solely because of his affiliate marketing strategy, but many would say he has sparked teenagers and young men in particular to take a stance against society in its current form. He's an idea, a symbol of something, whether any of us agree with him or not. Money, power, success, and freedom. Even though the world had a bone to pick with him, Tate escaped arguably the worst area in London for an American and made money breaking bones, eventually running multi-million-dollar empires. When you become such a powerful idea, something people want for themselves, they tend to ignore all of the ridiculous points that you and I make.
Bang out the machete, boom in her face, and grip her up by the neck.
And even more ironic is the hypocrisy of how he made his money and what Tate preaches online. He exploited weak men, men with addictions to porn and gambling, 2 of the 7 deadly sins, and Tate decided this would be the fastest way to wealth. He started his webcam agency and entered the casino business. For someone who cares about society and ensuring men and women stay masculine and feminine, it's ironic that he capitalized on weak men and promiscuous women. Then again, his dad Emery Tate was a chess grandmaster and taught Andrew how to make plays and exploit pawns on the chessboard. Years later, it wouldn't be a stretch to claim regular humans are pawns and the world is his chessboard, with Andrew aiming to be the most powerful player. Another lesson of sorts he may have learned is the king has less mobility but more value, but the queen has more mobility. If we look at Tate's viewpoint, it's almost identical, with the king having to work for his value and mobility, and the queens of the world simply assigned their value and mobility from birth. But let's focus on the female side, as that is arguably what will save or destroy Tate's life. News of Tate's arrest is being covered by every mainstream outlet, with many pushing the misogynistic woman-beating brainwasher story, and on the flip side, Tate's narrative. He's claimed before 3 big steps would be taken against the kickboxer by the Matrix, the elites of the world. First, they'd silence him online, and when they would inevitably fail, they'd imprison him, and if need be, they'd kill him. Arguably, the biggest reason Tate is being defended is his prediction of these events, and it's turned into a war on freedom of speech, movement, and life. If you side with him, you're fighting the Matrix, and if you're against him, well, you're just a brainwashed brokey. Now, Tate was arrested in relation to his webcam business, where he'd employ women to look beautiful and into a camera, and Tate would be typing in the background. In early 2022, Tate was arrested and detained shortly before being set free, and now recently the webcam millionaire was arrested alongside his brother Tristan for human trafficking and charges.
And Andrew punched me in my arm. I went to the bathroom and cried. It really, really hurt to have someone just hit me in the arm for no reason. I was very confused. I saw him smack girls with a belt because she wanted a lion. He used to strangle us as well. And I had gone to the shower, I came back and I noticed I saw him raping her. And
Now, these women allege physical and sexual abuse by Andrew and even attempted to press charges against him.
The Crown Prosecution Service said, in this case, we carefully reviewed all the evidence provided by the police regarding each complainant and concluded it did not meet our legal test and there was no realistic prospect of a conviction.
Andrew and his lawyers denied all allegations of assault and pointed to the police finding phones belonging to the girls, discussing whether they should report him to the police. Now, of course, with the alleged victim claiming she was underpaid relative to the money she brought in, it's feasible that these were extortionary claims, and that's why they lack evidence for a conviction. Other than the women who were employed, no other woman has complained or alleged Andrew to have assaulted or hurt them in any way, instead claiming he's a gentleman that treated them right. That would be Tate's side of the story, with the mainstream media and those previously employed women claiming he did assault and them, using what he said in the past online as evidence proving this. Of course, with the Crown Prosecution Service deciding not to pursue a case against Andrew, it's clear there's no legal merit to the case, but the Romanian authorities have decided they have a case and arrested Andrew on human trafficking, organised crime and charges, allegedly unrelated to the ones we just mentioned. Whether or not he did it though, only time will tell, and as the saying goes, innocent before proven guilty, but when it comes to Twitter, everyone is judge, jury and executioner. December 27th, 9:58 AM, Tate's Twitter account asked Greta Thunberg for her email to send a list of his 33 cards and all of their emissions. December 28th, 11:07 AM, Greta sends her newly made email, smalldickenergy@getalife.com. Many people replied referencing his arrest, asking if he made an escape with any of those cars, and one person highlighting the 34th car he was riding in. Some have said that Greta is a toxic, mannerless misandrist for her response and that it wasn't reflective of Tate's tweet. Look, I don't support Tate as he is accused of some crimes, but I must say, please go learn some manners. Another tweet claims she's body shaming and highlights how society has double standards. One tweet even calls her sexist for penis shaming Tate. I personally don't think anyone is to blame here though, as Tate likely didn't tweet that himself, rather his comprehensive social media team that manage his online presence do, and I do still think it is an off-brand move to provoke a 19-year-old autistic teen. As for Greta, Twitter is a toxic cesspit, so what she said in comparison to the platform isn't out of the ordinary, although it does highlight double standards in society, but that's not why this tweet blew up. This is why.
Andrew Tate will remain behind bars as part of a 30-day detention.
Every major news outlet in the Western world, particularly the US and the United Kingdom, was claiming that Tate had been arrested thanks to the pizza box and that it had been the reason the Romanian authorities knew he was in the country. Of course, when one dog barks, a pack of dogs bark with it, and instead of verifying the validity and authenticity of the source, they all ran with the flashy headline, leading people to believe, if not for Greta, the Romanian authorities were too incompetent to locate Tate. When scamming Romanian news sources at the time though, there was no mention of the pizza box leading to his arrest, and of course Greta, being the 20-year-old climate activist she is, she went with the narrative as well. She clearly didn't warm up to the idea of listening to the other side of the globe. After doing some digging though, I found out that a Twitter user had researched the cited sources from each article, and it led back to a Twitter user claiming it was the pizza box. A Twitter user was the mainstream media's source. I think this just highlights the need to do some research before believing what the news alleges or claims. But was this planned? Many influencers and social media personalities have done this in the past, argued and created controversy, only for it to be resolved, and they've both benefited from rapid growth if executed properly. Sneeko and Destiny are great examples of this, sparking controversy and disagreeing, and then doing a podcast together with Fresh and Fit. This Twitter pissing contest has brought a lot of mainstream attention to both Tate and Greta, and bad publicity is still publicity. They've both arguably benefited from this, with many creating memes based on this exchange of words between the two polarizing figures. As we know, Tate has seen a huge rise in online notoriety and grown exponentially from his once minuscule YouTube presence. Could being arrested be a part of his plan? It would certainly increase sales for his online education business Hustlers University, or the new version, The Real World. Follow the 3 steps he's mentioned before, ensure it looks like they're happening, and profit from more young people fearing the Matrix. Of course, with how strongly the media is pushing the narrative of Tate's guilt, it's feasible there are powers that be who are trying to make an example out of him for his fans and silencing him before the wave gets too big. Those with the Matrix mentality agree and push Tate out, and those harboring Tate's mentality once again are banished to the deep dark realms of subreddits, 4chan and Discord servers. I really think it is up for debate, and no one is right or wrong in this scenario. They either think Tate is guilty or he's innocent. Of course though, it's extremely hard to pass judgment when alleged arrest sources are Twitter tweets from nobodies with no track record of investigative journalism. There is a man in a $10 million studio who fits that description though, who's exposed many frauds and grifters, from the likes of Save the Kids to billion-dollar fraudster SBF. Click here to find out how CoffeeZilla started.